In this exercise, you'll add a broker, add a topic to the broker, add a producer that produces data to the topic, add a consumer, and then check the topic in the web console. Now go ahead and pause the video, perform this exercise, and then come back and I'll show you a possible solution. Okay, welcome back. I'm going to go over how I approach this exercise. So the first thing I did is I started up Zookeeper, and I'm just running everything locally. You could have done this across numerous nodes in your environment, or you could do the entire exercise all running locally. So I started up Zookeeper, and in this next shell, I'm going to start up my Kafka server. You see I renamed the properties to server 0, so this one's going to have broker ID 0. So go ahead and start that up. Okay, so we got that broker started. Now I want to add a broker. So I kind of took the approach of, hey, we have a broker running. I want to add a broker. So we'll do the same thing. We'll start it. This one, I have server properties 1. And that just has a different ID. Oh, and of course, I messed up something in my configuration. Of course, hard for it to go to the same directory to write data. Let me change that. Okay, so remember, for this, we want to go down to this logs. Okay, so we'll call this Kafka logs 1. Okay, all good. Now we should have both brokers running. Now I want to go ahead and add a topic. So for this, remember, we're going to use our Kafka topics script. We're going to call it to create. We need to tell it where Zookeeper is. Again, in my environment, it is running on localhost, port 2181, and the replication factor, we'll just make A1. And let's do partitions 2. And let's call the topic exercise 1. Okay, our topic's created. Now I'll go ahead and in this shell, I'll go ahead and I will start a producer. So I'm just going to use the shell script to do this. You could have written some code if you wanted to. Either way works just fine. Okay, console producer, broker list. So we got localhost 9092, and then I did localhost 9093. Should have been the other node. And the topic is going to be exercise 1. Okay, so we're there. So let's just put in here, how about our first message? This is our first message. This is our second message. Okay, so we have a producer running. I go to the next window here, and let's go ahead and start a consumer. Okay, again, I'm just going to use the shell script. You could have chosen to write code. Either way is just fine. The key is that you have the understanding as to how we're going about doing this. Okay, so again, the consumer is always going to look at Zookeeper and a local host, and the topic is exercise 1. Okay, let that get set up. And let's go ahead and say this is our third message. And there we go. So we got our third message that's there. And the last thing I want to do is I want to check this topic in the web console. So I have the Kafka Manager web console running here. I had started it up since it takes a moment before I had my cluster running. Okay, so we'll get here. Let's go ahead and add our cluster. We will call this cluster exercise 1. Call it exercise 1 cluster so we don't confuse it with our topic. Alright, Zookeeper is localhost. And that's fine. We're using 8.2. We can enable JMX. Save it. Let's go to our cluster view. Okay, we see we got 2 brokers. Our brokers are there. 9092, 9093. Looks good. Let's go ahead and check our topic. Sure enough, there's our exercise 1. 2 partitions, 2 brokers, spread across. It's got 1 replica. Okay, and there we go. So this is how I would have approached exercise 1. You could have taken a slightly different approach. You could have written some code in Java or another programming language to do the producer and the consumer. You could have started up the Kafka Manager and went under topic and created a topic from here. Totally works. No problem there. Okay. Add in the brokers. Pretty close to doing it either the way I did. You could have used Puppet or deployment methodology that you have. And of course, you could have done this whole thing across multiple different nodes in your environment. So again, to recap, we added a broker, added a topic, added a producer to produce data to that topic, added a consumer to consume that topic, and then verified everything using the Kafka Manager web application.